So, yeah, now this is a story I know I've done a few times on this channel, but sometimes when I really like a fanfiction idea, I'll sometimes, like, really jump into it, like, really get into it, and, like, sometimes if I'm really interested, I will come back and do, like, little tweaks here and there, and, like, new ideas for it, and, like, new, like, ideas for it, and things like that. Like, I will just go all out in terms of like what to do and like new ideas for it. And yeah, this is going to be my another revamp of my fanfiction idea of heroes versus monsters, where it's basically the heroes from Disney cartoon shows versus the classic Universal monsters. So this was actually inspired, and I think I've talked about this before, but this story was inspired by a crossover event called Monster War, which was Dynamite and Image Top Cow. They're heroes from the Top Cow Image line, like the Darkness, Magdalena, Witchblade, and even Lara Croft. Yeah, a lot of people forget that Lara Croft was a part of the Image universe for a short time, and they took on Dynamite's version of the classic monsters like Dracula, Mr. Hyde, the Wolfman, stuff like that. So that was more or less the inspiration for this. Even though I've never really read the story, I would love to find those issues or a trade of it, because I would love to read it, even though I know it's late 90s gritty superhero trash, but I would just enjoy to read it anyway. Anywho, let's get started. So let's dive into this story. Basically, it's not so much... The only real interconnection with all these like little stories is that it's a Universal monster taking on a Disney TV show hero. So let's kick off with the first story, and that's basically what it is a story centered around Randy Cunningham taking on the Wolfman. So this isn't Larry Talbot Wolfman. This is a descendant of in the Talbot family. So the Talbot family is basically like they've been cursed. Because, yeah, the specific kind of werewolf that Talbot was meant to die, and that would have broken the curse. But during the events of Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, when he got brought back, basically what happened is that he effed with the curse, and now because his death and resurrection, because it's not so much his death, because his death basically put him to rest, but his resurrection was an unnatural resurrection. So more or less what happens is that not only has he been damned, but he's damned his the firstborn child of every generation to become a werewolf. It's a very rare, like, generational curse. Anyway, so in this, the descendant of Larry Talbot is actually a woman named Clara Talbot, and she is a biologist. She's a renowned biologist who's been hiding her werewolfism, her lycanthropy, from the world. Like, she's been taking, like, certain drugs she's made that are more or less based off of wolfsbane that are, like, suppressing the werewolf inside of her. The problem is that the more she cages up the monster, the more, like, rabid and more, like, aggressive it becomes in her psyche. And it's, like, tearing out of her psyche. Like, she's becoming more animalistic. And she just got a job working for McFist Industries. And more or less what she's trying to do is, like, get in with McFist so she can get at some of the tech so she can find a way to cure herself of her lycanthropy. However, when she does, like, when McFist finds out that she's been trying to use, like, his technology for, not sanctioned work, he more or less destroys what he thought were, like, painkillers for her. And, yeah, she goes full werewolf. Viceroy captures her, and this werewolf, since it's been suppressed for so long, is, like, this big, like, Van Helsing werewolf. Like, those big, hulking, like, man-wolf kind of creatures. And McFist is like, oh, I know what to do. I'm gonna sick him on the ninja. I'm gonna sick her on the ninja. And that's basically what happens, is that it's just a wild, out of control Talbot descendant going after the ninja. So in the next story, it is this is Kim Possible versus Dracula. So Kim Possible versus Dracula. In this story, Kim has been sent to Romania to find a lost archaeological team that was digging in the Carpathian Mountains, and they claim to have found like the true casket of Vlad the Impaler, and they've all gone missing. So Kim is dropped in. She's dropped in after getting this help, with Ron, and the two of them go looking, and yeah, sure enough, it's not just Vlad the Impaler. It's Dracula. It is totally Dracula, and he's already turned the archaeological team into his first vampires. So Kim is like, I don't know how to combat this, because all of her opponents have really just been like metahumans, mad scientists, and aliens. She's never really dealt with ghosts and monsters before, so she's completely out of her forte, and the first monster she has to fight is Dracula. Lord of the Vampires. So there is that idea. That one is also like Kim coming to terms with like she's just a human being fighting a monster who is just, for the lack of a better word, immortal. So let's move on to the next story, and that is basically what it is Gravity Falls and the Mummy. So yeah, you would be thinking, wait, really? Gravity Falls and the Mummy? That's the one we're doing? Yeah, that's what we're doing here. In this story, what happens is that in this story, the Mummy has been, Stan has bought the tomb of the sarcophagus of Imhotep, and he got the frickin' sarcophagus to be part of his museum. For the Weird, his new Museum of the Weird, obviously a reference to the Museum of the Weird that was supposed to be a thing at the Haunted Mansion at Disney. So Stan's like, this is going to be cool, and he even got the scroll. And when I say bought, he more or less stole that one. So when he uses the Scroll of Thoth to, he's like talking on it, like, it's stupid, right? Let me read some of this bullshit for you. He reads it out, wakes up Imhotep, and Imhotep instantly recognizes the Pines family because in a past life they were the members of the Gravity Falls group were all at one point. Dipper and Mabel were the reincarnation of the prince and princess of Seti, the pharaoh that more or less gave him the curse. You also have Wendy, who was the captain in the guard's daughter, who also, cut out his tongue. I'm going also, for those wondering, if I'm using 1999 Mummy or classic Mummy, this is the classic Boris Karloff Mummy. And yeah, so he's not happy about seeing them again, and he is rightfully pissed. So going on to our next one, and the next one is Gargoyles. So the Gargoyles one is Gargoyles versus Frankenstein. So in this story, Anton Savarius has been contacted by an unknown individual who turns out to be the descendant of Victor Frankenstein, and he's heard about all of these creations that Savarius has created, and he's like, you and me, we're going to team up and make something cool. And Savarius is like, oh, this is going to be awesome. I'm working with a descendant of the person I've based all my work off of. So the two are more or less making like a Frankenstein monster, a new Frankenstein monster, and what is going on is that they're using parts. Like, they want to make their own gargoyle. Like, he wants to make, like, what did I name him? Isaac Frankenstein. So Isaac Frankenstein wants to make a gargoyle Frankenstein monster. So he's more or less trying to use, like, Zavaris' DNA and like the spare parts he's made from trying to make clones and make like a new gargoyle. Meanwhile, while this is going on, the gargoyles are like investigating like a series of people with bodies being found with organs missing. So you can obviously tell where this is going. So there you go. Let's see. What was another one? I know. Oh, yeah. The next one is Star versus the Invisible Man. So Star versus the Invisible Man is a story where Star and Marco encounter basically another descendant of a classic character, and that is the descendant of Jack Griffin, the original Invisible Man. And in here, he's trying to find a way. He like tells the story of how his great-great-grandfather became the Invisible Man and caused a lot of pain. But he's like, you know what? I would love nothing more than to, become invisible and like fight people, fight for the little man and all that. And Star's like, done. Turns him invisible, but can't find the spell to bring him back. And the problem is, much like Jack Griffin, this Griffin is going out of his goddamn gourd. And, yeah, it's not pretty. Anyway, so there is that. So our next one is the creature from the Black Lagoon. And in this story, the creature from the Black Lagoon takes on, believe it or not, this one is a Ducktales story. Yeah, I figured the Gill Man works well enough as a creature that could not just I don't know if the mic's picking that up. That's a siren. But basically, what this story is that like the Gill Man fits is a creature you could see in the world of Duckburg. So in this story, Scrooge McDuck and the family are going on a trip to the Amazon to look for the legendary creature of the Black Lagoon. Because, yeah, years ago, Scrooge went to the Amazon ages ago to find the creature, and because there was because it said that the creature, where the creature lives in the Black Lagoon, is a place of like riches and whatnot. He tried to go to the Amazon, he couldn't find his way there, and for lack of a better word, he couldn't find the Gill Man either. So in this storyline, he's now going down to the Amazon, look for the Black Lagoon, and find the Gill Man, hopefully a Gill Man, because he believes, I don't even know if there's any left. It was once said that there were at least 300 of them, but now I am afraid that they've all been wiped out by deforestation and whatnot. So, in here, they've managed to reach the Black Lagoon, and of course, there is the Gill Man waiting to fuck them up. So yeah, that one's a little more unorthodox, I know, but I was like, you know what? The Gill Man could easily fit in the realm of Duckburg. So, yeah. Anyway, so there you go, guys. Like I said, I know I've done this video several times, but I was like, you know what? I enjoy doing, when I really like a story, I sometimes come back and just retool it. Because I know some of you guys are like, wait, that monster didn't fight that monster, or that hero didn't fight that monster before in the last version. I know. I like to switch it up sometimes and think of new stories along with them. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of this version of Heroes versus Monsters? Did you guys like it, hate it? Comment below, let me know. Let me know what classic monsters you would have liked to have seen take on the Disney heroes in the comments below. Just comment below, let me know, and once again, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.